but not least, the expose of Tim Hortons. So I found this on Rebel News, and big salute to Rebel News TV. There's a Tim Hortons in Grimsby, Ontario, that fired a whole bunch of employees, people that were there for mad long, because one owner bought like 3 different Tim Hortons in the area. And when he bought that, and this owner, okay, we'll say is from a country. He came, he bought 3 of the Tim Hortons in the area, so that's all mine. And he said, all of you old white people and everybody else in here, you gotta go. Get out. I'm about to hire a whole bunch of people for way cheaper than you motherfuckers. So I'm going to pull up the video here, because that to me right there is just a nasty thing to do. And actually, Tim Hortons had to respond to all of this at some point. So let's pull up the video. Moses Arden says, sounds like Tim Hortons. Yeah, but this time they got slapped on the wrist and they had to say, you know what? My bad.
Miracle for Tim Hortons employees in Grimsby, Ontario, after they were threatened with losing their jobs right before the holidays, only for the company to suddenly backpedal following massive public backlash. It seems like Tim Hortons corporate is feeling the heat. So let's dig in.
Dad, not till 7:30. Go back to bed.
Tim Hortons coffee lovers can't wait to open our collector mug.
Tim Hortons is a brand that loves to wrap itself in the Canadian flag. It's a cozy, small-town vibe with the double-double that supposedly brings us all together. But the last few years, that image has been cracking wide open, and Canadians are starting to push back pretty hard. Let me read you this absolutely gut-wrenching post from one of the workers at the Grimsby, Ontario Tim Hortons.
Damn.
The double drive-through Tim Hortons store by the high school has been sold to the guy who bought out the other 3 locations in Grimsby. We, the staff, were told that we were all being let go. Imagine, right before Christmas, he fired everyone with the exception of 5 part-time people that have been there for less than a year. Some of
all of you old, white, frufty ass motherfuckers, get out. Get out. Okay. Ooh, Beverly, how long you been here, Bev? 30 years? Okay, all your customers know, all your customers' orders before they walk in the door. Bev, you gotta go. Okay? You're too old to be here anyway. Get out. Go retire. Oh, Shorty, who's been the manager of this place forever, keeping the place on point, clean, donuts fresh. Get out. Everybody got to leave. Oh, you, who just started working here about 6 months ago, you're kind of okay. English is kind of so-so. You keep on fucking up the orders, but you know what? You could stay. You could stay. We might need you.
Of us have worked at this store for 10, 15, even 20 plus years. We've grown up with you. We know our regulars' orders. We were a family, or at least they thought they were.
No,
the employees were told they were getting fired so that they could bring in people to pay them less. / the government can give the owner incentives for hiring abroad. The post highlights how the job market is horrible and calls for a boycott of all 4 Tim Hortons locations to hit the owner where it hurts, his wallet. This exposes the deeper rot in Canada's temporary foreign worker program, where labor market impact assessments are being exploited to flood the market with cheap foreign labor, often backed by government incentives at the direct expense of Canadian workers. Tim Hortons corporate sees Canada's unprecedented immigration influx that dwarfs historical averages as an opportunity, you see. But the public exploded when this hit and social media lit up. Even the local Conservative MP, Dean Allison, called Tim Hortons out publicly on X, asking if they were firing all Canadian workers right before Christmas. And suddenly, Tim Hortons corporate rushes out this statement. Let me read it to you because it seems like a masterclass in damage control. We have a Tim Hortons franchisee in Grimsby, Ontario, who is planning to retire. Following discussions between the two franchisees, existing team members were told that their employment would end with the sale. We believe this is a bad outcome. The selling franchisee has apologized and provided letters today that reconfirm their continued employment.
Boop, boop.
Assuming the sale goes through, the buying franchisee has committed that he will maintain the employment of all the existing team members. Oh, really? They believe that this was a bad outcome only after the backlash hit, after Christmas firings made headlines in the Toronto Sun, after Canadians said, enough is enough. It seems more.
Wow. So Tim Hortons finally was like, no. He didn't say he was going to fire them. Don't worry about that. He's not going to fire them, all right? Beverly will still have her job. Okay, it'll be fine. It's just a little bit of a miscommunication around here. Tim Hortons is going to be Tim Horton for the rest of history, okay? Nothing to see here. Are planning to retire. Yeah. I'm not buying this.
Has committed that he will maintain made headlines in the Toronto House and bring in cheaper temporary foreign workers. Firings made headlines in the Toronto Sun after Canadians said enough is enough. It seems more like a forced backpedal because the heat was on. The original plan was clear: clean house and bring in cheaper temporary foreign workers. And let's be real here. We have seen this playbook before. Similar stories popping up across Canada with Tim Hortons franchisees, just like the ones I covered in Cobourg and Picton alike.
One of the managers, she explained to me, because they are cheaper to
Remember this oldie but goodie?
hire. I asked her, what do you mean? She said, because the government pay a little bit of their wages, so it's easier for the owners.
She asked if she wanted an Indian boyfriend. And she said, well, I'm only 17.
I heard I could make $20,000 if I wanted to marry the manager's brother. Can I start that process?
Just because your boss doesn't like the fact that an independent journalist is in here video reporting, that's not up to him. She has the right to do that.
When I pressed Tim Hortons previously in those reports for their response to all of these allegations, they accused.
Hold on. I need to go back to this one right here. What happened here?
I could make $20,000.
$20,000 if I wanted to marry the manager's brother? What? Yo, what the fuck am I seeing right here, bro? His bro? Nigga in the back like, yo, fam, 20,000. Marry him. Yo, Raj, we got somebody. Yo, that's crazy. Yo, fam. Whose fault is this? Because it's one thing to be like, okay, we could try to demonize the people and be like, oh, you guys are a bunch of scammers. There's scammers from all over the world. This is the government's fault, bro. Y'all let way too many people in at the same time. I'm not saying immigration is wrong. Immigration is right. I'm a product of it. But, bro, when you did what you did, and I'm talking to you, Trudeau, all right? When you did what you did a few years ago during the COVID times, and you let all these people in because we weren't able to go outside, you fucked up, bro. You fucked up big time. Marry my bro for 20,000 over at the Timmy's, fam. This is the hustle at the Timmy. Fam, I can see the menu right here, fam. Collect points, redeem free Tims. And this is the conversation they're having at the counter.
$20 if I wanted to marry the manager's brother here. Can I start that process?
Just because your boss doesn't like the fact that an independent journalist is in here video reporting, that's not up to him. She has the right to do that.
When I pressed Tim Hortons previously in those reports for their response to all of these allegations, they accused me of making very serious allegations, yes, of course, without supporting evidence. They warned that publishing inaccuracies could be considered libel. They requested full access to all of my investigative material to respond, which is an absurd demand in routine media inquiries. Instead, corporate offered only a generic statement praising franchisees and once again requested my evidence. This is the same evasive playbook we've seen before: deflect, delay, and dodge accountability, while loyal Canadian workers get sidelined for cheaper foreign replacements. But Canadian...
Yo, who's working at Tim Hortons corporate right now, fam? That shit is a shambles, bro. They're just letting anybody franchise the shit. Oh, you got some bread. It's not even that they're just letting anybody. They know who they're letting franchise it because they know they can subsidize. Yo, they're cleaning money over there, fam. Tim Hortons is a fucking Ponzi scam.
Canadians aren't buying it anymore. The backlash not only forced a reversal in Grimsby, but exposed how deep the rot is in big corporations like Tim Hortons gaming the system for profit. We know that Tim Hortons has been
they're literally doing legal money laundering. I'm in the wrong business.
Aggressively lobbying the government as recently as October of 2025 for more access to temporary foreign workers, even pushing to raise the cap higher, despite Ottawa tightening it back to 10%. Meanwhile, Canadian youth unemployment is skyrocketing, with teens hit hard as the very entry-level jobs that once gave our kids their first paycheck and work experience are disappearing to foreign replacements. These are the jobs that teach responsibility and build resumes. But corporate giants like Tim Hortons push for more foreign workers and international students while firing Canadians. They claim it's about labor shortages, but it seems more like it's about their bottom line. And sadly, Tim Hortons isn't some mom and pop shop anymore. It's owned by a massive international corporation. They market Canadian pride, but when it comes to the workers, loyalty seems to go out the window for greed. Canadians saved these jobs for now with their outrage, but this is bigger than Grimsby. It's a warning about how the temporary foreign worker
Tim Hortons is not even owned by a Canadian company anymore. Like, I think it's owned by an American company, if I'm not mistaken.
Program is being abused, displacing Canadians while youth struggle to get a foot in the door. So yes, the workers in Grimsby, they got a Christmas miracle, but only because Canadians caught the Tim Hortons Grinch mid-steal. The jobs were saved for now, not because corporate found its heart, but because the public caught them red-handed and said, not this time. For Rebel News, I'm Tamara Ugolini.
I'm just looking this up in the back end, pause, of who Tim Hortons is owned by. Jesus Christ. It says company out of Brazil, eh? It's right here. As of 2025, Tim Hortons is in it. No, I'm talking about the company. RBI. Okay, RBI publicly traded on the Toronto Stock Exchange, New York Stock Exchange under the symbols QSR. Right, a Brazilian American investment firm, a significant shareholder is 3G Capital, a Brazilian and American investment firm that originally led to the forming RBI. Yeah, this is the merge right there, 2014. Tim Hortons and Burger King, when you just start seeing all of them right next to each other. Yep. There's a couple of more things I wanted to show you guys on this topic right here, because this right here doesn't only happen in Tim Hortons. And I saw a post, and I don't think that this post is in Toronto. They're trying to push this post like it was Toronto. Like Brampton Domino's worker caught doing this at work. This wasn't in Brampton.
Allie, should we leave? What happened to having hygiene? I love Domino's. I get my pizza from there all the time, but this looks absolutely cooked. I'm not trying to disrespect the worker or anything, but first of all, you're not supposed to be sitting on the storage bin. Second of all, you're treating this like as if you're at home, touching your feet and stuff like that. That's really nasty, man. Yeah, please, hygiene is really needed. You don't have hygiene, it makes people around you uncomfortable. Yeah, I don't want to see this ever again. That was absolutely nasty.
Yeah, because I watched the original video to this, and there was an American girl talking about it, like she was in this restaurant and da-da-da-da. So this might have been a Domino's in America somewhere, right? But people are taking it and repurposing it and saying it's Brampton. So some of this stuff, it could be looked at as like xenophobia or hate and stuff like that too, right? Trickling down on other people. But yeah, doesn't help. Doesn't make things that much easier. Last thing I'm gonna show y'all, and yeah, I keep on saying boycott Tim Hortons while I have an ice cap right here, but like I might need to like stand on business for real, for real. So Canada is deporting nearly 400 people per week, fastest pace in a decade. This might change some of those issues that we might be having with Tim Hortons and a bunch of different places, people finding jobs, all that stuff. Now they're trying to self-correct all of the mistakes they made.
The Canada Border Services Agency is removing about 400 people a week from the country, a pace of deportation not seen in over a decade.
Overwhelmingly, it is refugee claimants, failed refugee claimants who are being removed in these numbers.
This refugee lawyer says the government may be preparing for its border bill, C-12, which it hopes to pass in the spring.
Our concern is that it will continue to rise once the border bill is passed, and that it is a ramping up to basically prepare.
What's the problem?
Both for the increased number of deportations that will happen and also for them to be able to do them as speedily as possible.
Removals dropped below 10,000 a year during the COVID pandemic, but have since surged back. The numbers for the current fiscal year are on track to set a new record high of about.
So this is the deportation back in 2021. They were barely deporting people, 7,500 people. That's crazy. This is for the whole of Canada. It's not Ontario. 10,000 people in 2022, so it was going up. 2023 went up a significant amount. And right now, they're trying to break some records.
22,000. The cost of all those deportations has also increased to nearly $80 million this year.
Shit.
CBSA says
it's going to cost $80 million to deport all them people, bro. Yo, fam, we're just bleeding money, fam. Yo, times are hard, bro. What are you guys trying to tell me, bro? Mans are like, yo, come on in, come on in. Here's a bunch of money. Here's a bunch of places you could live. People are on streets, going to freaking food banks, all types of shit. And you guys are like, come on in, come on in. Here's some checks. And then it's like, no, I changed my mind. Everybody get out, get out. Oh, how much it's going to cost? $80 million. There you go. Here's some more money. Where's ours? Can we hold something? You guys got so much money to give to Ukraine, give to all these different countries, deport people, import people, but can't keep money to keep the people off the freaking sidewalk. Holy shit. But when it was ready to lock everybody down in their house, you found a way to give everybody $2,000 a month real quick, as long as you did your taxes. Why is it so hard to give the Canadians money, but everybody else, y'all ready to just give them yo, here's some money, just shovel it out the ground, here's some more money. The hell, bro? You're just making us look crazy, y'all. You're just playing in our face, fam.
It costs between $3,000 and $4,000 on average to remove someone who leaves willingly without the need for escort. When deportees have to be escorted out of the country, the average cost more than triples.
Just to be clear,
the Carney government, under its border plan, already gave CBSA an additional $30 million to pay for up to 20,000 removals per year this year and next. The agency says it's on track to deport even more than that.
This nigga's, look at this guy.
This year and next.
This guy's a traitor. You know what I'm saying? You working with the man. Go against your own people, my nigga. I see you.
Next, the agency says it's on track to deport even more than that. Not all deportees came as asylum seekers. Some came as foreign workers and international students, only to see the rules get tighter.
You might say, well, there are just more and more people who are removable and we have to deal with them. It's important to think about how policy choices create more deportable people.
The Carney government has said it wants to slow population growth in Canada, and it appears to be succeeding. Canada's population actually dropped in the last fiscal quarter by 76,000 people, the largest quarterly drop ever recorded. Evan Dyer, CBC.
76,000 people in one quarter. Well, there we have it. Tim Hortons is out here scamming and then taking it back. The population, they're trying to, even that out again. Say, yo, okay, I'm sorry. We sent too many people. I see everybody on social media going crazy. Little Timmy can't get a job at Timmy's because I don't even want to get crazy. Y'all gonna call me a racist. I'm just trying to say this is what it is. This is what's happening, right? Maybe in the next year or so, things might even out. I don't see it that way. This might be another 2 years before things come to where everything's actually proportionally spread amongst everybody. But I don't even see that happening, man. Maybe it's just me being on this earth so long. I get really pessimistic when it comes to these government moves over here. So, to be continued.
Thanks for watching.
If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to check out these other videos on the screen and make sure to like and subscribe.
We love hip hop.